Hello, audio lovers. Michal here from SoundInvestigationStudio.com. Welcome back to the Starting with Compressor series. Well, this is episode number 2, and I hope that you successfully caught the first episode in which we discovered what is compressor actually doing, why do we need it, and how should you think about it. Today, I want to tell more about attack and release knobs on the compressor. Those are very important settings which influence a lot on the tone and use of instrument that you're compressing. The goal of this video is to clarify all the things about attack and release that confuse you. I'll explain to you what these knobs are actually doing, and also I'll show you the examples of how to use them. Right now, let's focus on these two knobs. Forget about other knobs on the compressor. We'll discover those too, but in future videos. The fact is that attack and release knobs really shape the way a compressor sounds. If you remember from the first video, that attack tells the compressor how quickly to start compressing, how quickly to start reducing the audio which passed over threshold of the compressor. So if the attack time is fast, then the compressor will start working right away, and if it's slow, then it says to compressor, okay, wait a bit, pass some of the audio through, and then start compressing. The release knob is actually doing the opposite. Release tells the compressor after audio is gone through, if it's a fast release, then quickly let it go to reset back to its normal volume level. And slow release means keep that audio down for a bit longer. Compress that audio a bit longer before you return it back to normal volume level. Okay, so how do we use those knobs in practice? If you set a faster attack, the compressor will more hit at the transients. Snare drum here is a great example of hitting the transients with the compressor. Okay, look at this snare drum track here. Here we have an audio wave, and you can see the transient right here. Transient is the first part of the audio wave. That's the smack of the stick on the snare drum. And now let's take a listen. Okay, so we have this compressor inserted on the snare group channel, and now we can set the fast attack, for example, which will tell the compressor to hit the audio immediately when it hears it. It will start compressing right here, as you can see it on the transient. And that's important to us because it depends on what we want to do with the compressor. So let's say in this case that I want to fatten up the snare drum. Well, to fatten up the snare drum, we basically need to increase the volume of the tail of the snare drum, and the tail is all of this. Okay, this is the tail of the snare drum. It's actually a sustaining tone. First we have the hit, and then it comes the tone. We'll actually use the compressor to turn the peak of the snare drum here. Okay, and so it could get to closer volume level to the tail of the snare drum. And with the makeup gain, we can bring up all of the snare drum back up. So in essence, that kind of compression move keeps the transient of the snare drum where it was, and it turns up the tail of the snare a bit, which makes us feel like the snare drum becomes fatter. Fast attack allows us to do that. And slow attack will start to compress, but after this transient. So let's take a listen to it right now. Here's a snare drum without compressor. Okay, and now we'll set slow attack and fast release. You can see that it's barely doing any compression, and that's because it's low attack, so it's missing the peak. If you have fast attack time, it's hitting the transient right away. Okay, you can see that the output here is turning down, and also make sure to check the gain reduction. Let's see how much it is. Remember that compressor is actually turning things down, so we need to use makeup gain to back up the volume of the audio to where it was before the compression. You can compare the input and output meter until they become equal, but also you can hear if the input and output are at equal level by pressing the bypass button. Okay, and now let's hear what have we done. I'll bypass the compressor. Okay, and now with compression. I showed you this example because I wanted you to hear what the attack can do. It can quickly hit the transient, and that is great for you if you want to achieve a greater fatness of the tail of the snare, and by that, getting whole snare to sound more fattened up. With attack, you'll turn down the peak of the snare, and with makeup gain, you'll turn up everything else and equal things dynamically a bit better. Also, I would suggest you not to be afraid to go in extreme settings with your compressor. Go all the way into extreme just to learn what your compressor is doing. Let's try it out here at this snare drum. Okay, so this was slow attack and slow release. Usually this setting catches something or nothing at all, because attack time is too slow. Now I'll set up fast attack and fast release. Okay, now I'll set up fast attack and slow release. Take a look at gain reduction going slowly back to zero. It almost doesn't go back to original volume before the next hit. Okay, and now slow attack and fast release. Again, it's slow attack, so it's not happening too much because it can't grab the peak fastly enough. Okay, so combine these settings, play with your compressor so you could know what to expect from it and how to use it on a different examples. Listen to what you hear, and remember that attack and release give you the possibility to shape the tone. One more time. Attack and release tell the compressor how fast or slowly to jump on your audio and how fast or slowly do you want compressor to release the audio and get it back to original volume. Now, if you're interested, you can go to my website and get my free ebook called Tips for a Better Mix, in which I wrote everything about my favorite compression technique. It's my gift to you because I really want to help you. Hopefully, this video has left no room for any confusion, but still, if you feel confused or having any questions, feel free to contact me or simply leave a comment below. Also, if you like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you could be the first one to know when a new video comes out. I wish you to have a great rest of your day. Write and mix some great music, my friend, and I'll see you on the next video.